So when you're physically sick, like you can have the cold, the flu, or you could just have any other medical problem, blood pressure issues, heart issues. The norm is to just go to the doctor and get treated. You go to the doctor, you might get some medicine, they might tell you, put you on, you might even go to the hospital, you get some kind of treatment for any kind of physical illness. And then you got mental health, you got mental illnesses. The norm isn't always to get treated. The norm isn't always to seek for help, get medicine. A lot of people try to ignore it. A lot of people try to, get into denial about having these kind of issues, having depression, suicidal thoughts, bipolar, the list goes on. It's very easy to make up excuses for yourself. It's very easy to say, hey, this is not a real problem. Speaking from a man's perspective, to admit that you're having mental issues, especially when it comes to like showing your emotions and talking about how you feel, it's kind of seen as very unmanly. The stereotype when it comes to men, that men shouldn't really show emotion, men shouldn't talk about how they feel. Men kind of just gotta figure it out on their own. They need to figure it out. They need to suck it up. That's a popular phrase. But when it comes to mental health is just as bad or can be worse than any kind of physical illness. If you're gonna get treated for physical illness, you should be treated for mental. In the beginning, when I got diagnosed with some things, I tried to just forget about it. I tried to ignore it because I never had those issues before. So I was like, why am I having them now? Why am I feeling sad all of a sudden? It was a different kind of sad. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm upset, or somebody died. It was like a sad that took over my whole body. And then from there, it just started to get worse with different emotions, anger, anxiety, panic attacks, all that kind of stuff was coming into play. So to admit, I was probably about 19 or 20, to admit that I had an issue and I needed to seek help, it was hard. It was hard because, I don't know, because I'm a man. Men don't do that. So it started out as, getting put on medicine and not taking it, or just taking it for a little bit then stopping because I think, oh, I feel better now, it's gone. And that really messed me up, being on and off medication, or missing a lot of therapy appointments in the beginning, just having that idea of that my mental illnesses weren't real. But then as time passed, I realized how bad I was getting, how depressed I was getting, how manic I was getting, how suicidal I was getting, and I knew I had to have some kind of constant help, whether it was therapy, whether it was, continue to take medicine. It was very obvious that I had issues. I was extremely embarrassed to even talk about it to anybody, especially my friends and my family. I hated talking about it. I felt like they would look at me different because I wasn't like that before. So I'd always hide it, or I'd make excuses as to why maybe I can't hang out, why, I'm home all the time, or, stuff like that. I'll make a lot of excuses. And then it just came to a point where I just I got so tired of fighting all the time. I got so tired of feeling like I wanted to die, so tired of not having a lot of energy, that I knew not only did I need treatment, but I needed the people that I loved to know that I wasn't alright. So I had to realize that it was okay. It was okay not to be alright. It is totally okay not to be okay. And I hope somebody that watches the video or has seen posts I made before know that you're not by yourself. Not even a little bit. Because I always thought I was by myself. I always thought nobody could be going through this. Nobody could be messed up like this. Nobody could want to, end their life the way I wanted to. Nobody could feel by themselves like I did. And I could easily say it gets better. That's the most basic advice I've heard in my life. It's only going to get better if you try to get better. Life doesn't get better. Life is full of bullshit. But the way you choose to live, the way you choose to go through life, that's up to you. If you choose to go through life and not get help for yourself and not take care of yourself, life's going to suck a lot. If you choose to take care of yourself and get on the right track and take care of your mental health, just like you would physical, your life's going to suck a little less. It's going to be easier to cope with things that maybe are hard to cope with now. But talking to somebody was probably the biggest thing, the most important thing I needed to do. Whether it was therapy, whether it was family, friends, it's still hard to this day. It's still hard. I'm surprised I even open up about it publicly a lot. But I think I felt so bad. Like I've gotten to a point where I've been so low. And once I realized that other people actually go through that too and are not getting treated or are not, maybe don't have someone in their corner, I guess I just want to be that person for somebody or for everybody. Because the worst is not only going through that, but feeling like there's nobody else in the world that goes through it either. Like even making this video, it's hard. It's hard to talk about. I hate talking about it. I hate talking about it. I hate talking about myself. I hate talking about my mental health. I hate talking, period. But it's something I gotta do. Whether it's just making a video, whether it's talking to a friend, family, whatever, or just helping somebody, like that's how I get through the day. And maybe sometimes, maybe not even talking at all. That also helps because I have other, coping skills that help me personally kind of get through the day. Just never feel alone. Never feel like you're the only one. Because you're not. There's a whole bunch of us out there that are struggling. A whole bunch of us that have had the suicidal thoughts. There's a whole bunch of us that might have tried it. There's a whole bunch of us that have mood swings and all this shit. Like there's a whole bunch of us out there. Don't ever be ashamed to get help. Don't ever be ashamed to work hard on getting help. And don't ever be ashamed to say, hey, I'm not happy, but I want to be.